Hi, I'm Ranger Karen with the New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park. We're a national park dedicated to educating people about the development and progression of jazz music here in the city where it was born. We're really excited today to be co-sponsoring a program with Nick Spitzer and American Roots. And we're going to be having a conversation and performance with John Boutte, one of New Orleans' great jazz vocalists. I want to just let you know where we are today. We're in Marigny Studios in the neighborhood just downriver from the French Quarter. We're in this beautiful space that's surrounded by wooden walls and instruments of all sorts. And John's going to be backed up today by a band that includes a piano player, upright bass, and guitar. And with that, I'll turn it over to Nick Spitzer.
Thank you, Ranger. And I'm going to turn it over to John Boutte and band here on American Roots.
Yo, come on, take this journey. Now won't you come along with me? Way down that Mississippi. We'll take our trip to the land of ease. Flow down the river down to New Orleans. The bands that'll greet us, there'll be old friends to meet us. It's where the light, the dark folks meet. Way down that river down in New Orleans on Basin Street. Hey, that's the street where all the big shots meet. Way down in New Orleans, the land of dreams. You will never know how nice it seems and what it really means. Yes, read. I'm glad to be where welcomes are very dear to me, or where I can lose all of my Basin Street blues. Beignets, oysters raw, filet gumbo, catfish courtbouillon. Way down in New Orleans, it's a land of dreams. You will never know how nice it seems or what it really means. Yes, sirree, I'm glad to be where welcomes are dear to me, where I can't lose all of my Basin Street blues. Now ain't you glad you came with me? We went down that Mississippi. We took a trip to the land of ease. Floated down the river down to New Orleans. Yeah, you're right.
All right. John Boutte here on American Roots. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Nick. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, I would call that the new Basin Street blues.
That's a new one, baby.
Yeah, you got a little more of the recipes in the mix.
You're right.
Yeah, but still got the rich and the poor folks meeting down there on Basin Street. That seems to go on.
we still here, rich and poor, boy.
Uh-huh. Well, it's so good to have you, have the band. Maybe you could say a little bit about your own history in Louisiana and New Orleans. I know you got a big family,
yes.
And they go back.
Yes, we
do.
do.
Tell us about them.
Well, first off, today happens to be my mother and father, who are both have gone beyond, past. It's their anniversary, 12th of January, we're recording this. And they had 10 children, man, They had 6 girls and 4 boys. They wanted 13, believe it or not. I don't know what they were thinking, dude, My mom always said that, they were Catholic and she was on the rhythm method, but she didn't have good rhythm, So, but, I love growing up in a big family, a big Creole family in New Orleans in the 7th Ward. My father's father was a carpenter. They actually built that 7 ward. And his father's father, I'll go back to the original Bouttes, who were Hilary and Pierre, 2 brothers, who were bequeathed Barataria Island by the King of Spain.
Oh, now we're really back there.
We're really back there.
Yeah,
but,
we're in the 18th century now.
now, come up to the 1900s, and that's when they discovered the largest discovery of natural oil in America is right there. Right? So I'm still looking for my check. I know a lot of Bouttes got it, but they were a little bit of different persuasion, I think.
But you're talking about the Spanish period. I got 1760s on.
Yeah.
But your family is French Creole.
We're French Creole, real New Orleans folks, man. We're real Americans. We're the real Americans, if there's such a thing, right? And on my mother's side, I think I was telling you earlier, she's from the Melungeon tribe.
Native American
Melungeon tribe out of the Appalachians, which were free blacks and Indians who mixed along that line, et cetera, et cetera. And I come from generations on her side, man. I can go back from the Marcels to the Séchers to the Ecas to the Goins, LeBlanc, and Boutte.
All those great family names.
All those, and so we've got, let me tell you, my people built this city, literally built this city, and have contributed so much,
Yeah. Well, to having that deep, long history, you're still a person that's made something new. You make your own kind of vocal jazz over the years.
You could say that. I've always loved music ever since I was a little bitty kid. Before, I was introduced to any instruments. My first instrument was when I was 8 years old. I begged my mother to get me a horn because I knew my old aunt next door had an old cornet, man. She got from Grunewald, which was the people before the World Lines.
A big music store,
right? It was it was a beautiful old cornet, man. Same type like Louis Armstrong had, and. I begged her for that cornet, and I had a speech impediment. She didn't know what I was saying, and she had my baby sister pulling on one side of her apron. I was on the other side asking for this cornet, she was saying, and my baby brother was in her arm while she was stirring a pot. I will never forget this. And she looked at me, she says, Mama doesn't have a clarinet. I'm like, oh, jeez. I said, cornet. Right? But next morning, man, she gave me that. She got that horn, she cleaned it up, and she literally put it in a denim satchel and sent me to school with that horn. But before that, I knew the power of the voice because I just like to sing, and make, as a kid, I was singing to my dog or whoever would listen, right? And then when I got to kindergarten, they taught you all those little tunes and stuff, man. I would drive my sisters crazy singing, right? So I knew the power of the voice.
And in a big family, you need to have that power of the voice.
Yeah,
and if you can sing, it's probably even better to persuade people.
Right. I wish I had my father's projection, man, because he had he had a great ear. He could whistle in tune. He never really tried to sing, but I bet you he could if he wanted to, right?
Yeah.
Because he had really good pitch.
Well, he must have been proud of you.
He was, man. He was very proud when I was commissioned as an officer. But, my mom and dad always loved all of us, man. And they always said that there was nothing we couldn't do. And they also realized we were all individuals. They never tried to make us clones of them, our brothers and sisters. We were who we were, no matter whether they liked it or not.
This is American Roots. We're talking to the highly individual John Boutte. There are no clones.
No clones in the Boutte.
He's the only one here with the band at Maroney Studios. Yes. What's next, John? What you got in mind?
Well, you're speaking of family. I'm going to do this tune that I wrote with my friend Paul Sanchez, and it's called Sisters. I got 6 sisters: Lolette, Lynette, Lillian, Lorna, Lita, and Lenora. So this is a song that I wrote with my friend Paul Sanchez. It's called Sisters, for my sister Lolette, Lynette, Lillian, Lorna, Lita, and Lenora. It's got a Spanish tinge, like Jelly Roll Martin said New Orleans music had. Come to find out I'm more Irish than Spanish. But here we go. Lolette, Lynette, Lillian, Lorna, Lita, Lenora. My lovely many sisters who raised me home, I adore ya. Well, my feet may be far from your door, but I keep in my heart all the lessons you taught me when I was a boy in your arms. Lolette, Lynette, Lillian, Lorna, Lita, Lenora. Everything I'm bringing, every song I'm singing's for ya. My life's still a mystery, all my history's with you. And the love that you gave me has saved me, it's pulling me through. Oh, my sisters, yeah, my sisters, I remember dancing in the kitchen with my sisters, my lovely sisters. When I got in trouble, they were right there snitching. Lolette, Lynette, Lillian, Lorna, Lita, Lenora. Ocean and moonlight are calling your names from the shore. I'm in some foreign place, I don't know a face where I am. Yet all that I'm needing is leading me home once again. Oh, my sisters, I remember dancing in the kitchen with my lovely sisters. Oh, my sisters, when I was in trouble, they were always bitching. Lola, Lynette, Lillian, Lorna, Lita, Lenora. Everything I'm bringing and every song I'm singing's for you. Some foreign place and I don't know a face where I am. Yet all that I'm needing is leading me home once again. And all that I'm needing is leading me home once again. And all that I'm needing is leading me home. Lolette, Lynette, Lillian, Lorna, Lita, Lenora.
Ah, yeah. So how do your sisters like that song?
They love it, man.
I can't imagine why.
You know, it's funny because when we recorded it, it was back when they had the DAT tapes, right? Those little. When we recorded this song, it was back when we had the little DAT tapes, and instead of going into a studio, my brilliant idea was to rent a limousine and ride around in a limousine with a little DAT tape and have Paul on the guitar and me in the back and find a quiet space and record them, you know, just to see how they sound. And I brought that to my sister Lita, and, you know, I let her hear it, and she just burst out in tears. And I was like, oh, I didn't expect that.
I love it.
But my audience really likes that. The ladies really love that, especially anybody who has sisters.
Well, I like it too, man.
Yeah, well, thank you.
So you know, you grew up at a time when soul music was really flowering, and you think of Aretha, the OJs, Temptations, but you also grew up around all these incredible New Orleans traditional jazz folks. You know, I mean, obviously Danny Barker and
Yes.
Louis Big Eye Nelson and all these characters that were, some you had family members in the music. So how do you reconcile those worlds? I mean, a lot of kids that heard soul and Motown would say, that's my music, I don't need anything else. But you seem to have always kept all of that in your heart.
Well, I think one of the reasons, Nick, is the school system in New Orleans had music. From, this is one of the cities that they actually had instruments they would give. If you didn't have an instrument, they would give you an instrument. So, and from that standpoint, at an early age, I was learning how to read music, and I was reading marching band things, and not only the pop music that we heard from Papa Stoppa on
the great DJ,
the great
Papa
DJ,
Stoppa.
right? So
wait a minute, what is a Papa Stoppa?
I have no idea. Dude.
I'm sure you don't.
But we heard all these great radio stations with all the soul that was coming out, with even the local things, man. With the Nevilles and Alan Toussaint and Fats Domino, and you can, I can go on and on.
What a lineup just here on pop radio.
We could just go on and on with that kind of music. I always heard that going on. Right. So I always just had appreciation for all type music, man, because, I don't get bored when I listen to the different types, and I think New Orleans is just that way.
But not everybody that listens to radio, hears the music in the streets or in the family, makes a decision that they're going to go out and perform or entertain. So I mean, what turns you in that direction?
Well, when I got through my education at Xavier. And,
Xavier University, great Black Catholic university,
beautiful institution. I loved my time there, and Dr. Francis and all those people, they were great. And that was the first private school I ever went to. It ended up to be private and Catholic. Wow, boom, boom, double whammy. But those nuns were tough, but they were very good educators, man. And I had some incredible teachers, a liberal arts education, so it was a great education. But I can say that once I went through that and the military and everything, I really always wanted to do music. And one fateful day, I spent a day with Stevie Wonder, and he told me I had a signature voice. And I quit my banking job the next day. Long story short, right?
The Wonder endorsement.
Yeah, I was like, that's it, dude. I'm out. I'm out of here, right?
Yeah.
Everybody thought I had lost my mind, right? But my sister Lillian
Boutte.
Yeah, Lillian, man.
A legend in New Orleans music.
Legend, man. She opened so many doors for so many people. In the 80s, when she went over there with the One More Time show, and then she married my brother-in-law Thomas, who's German, and she just traveled a lot in Europe. When I quit my gig, I was a logistician trained in the Army. Instead of becoming Bebos, I followed my sister across the waters, and I drove the van and sold records and was doing all the logistics for her. But it gave me a chance to be with some of the best musicians: Edward Frazier Frank, Lloyd Lambert, Smokey Johnson, John Brunius, Wendell Brunius. I just can go on and on and on and on.
That's
Doc
New Orleans
Cheatham,
jazz royalty there.
Doc
the
Cheatham. I mean, I can't. I'm name dropping, but you name it.
Yeah.
Those people are out there. But I realize that economically, it's easier to have a jazz band, a trio like this, on the road singing somewhere than, a load of trucks and trying to fill a stadium, man.
Yeah.
You
need to be the Grateful Dead.
I didn't have. I just
or
wanted
even
to do,
Stevie Wonder.
I wanted to do the music, and I realized there was lots of people in Europe who were interested in this music, man. And like the Barbarans, Mr. Barbaran and them, they lived right on New Orleans Street.
That's right.
By us, I'd see him, man. He'd always ask me, "You still playing that horn?"
Right.
I'd never realized these guys, man, they were royalty in Europe.
Globally great music was right here in the city.
Right.
And still is. But
both of them
and you're up and coming, certainly right there around you.
True, and both of them played drums for Louis Armstrong. It's like, where does that happen?
Yeah.
And Smokey Johnson, come on, man, on the road with him, and Luscious Lloyd Lambert. Oh my gosh.
Luscious man. Lloyd. I hadn't heard the name Luscious in front of Lloyd, but I'll take it. What do you think? What does this encourage you to sing next for our great radio audience?
Well, that's a good question, Nick. I better take a look at the cheat sheet. I got one. We're gonna do Grits Ain't Groceries, because this is for my friend James Carroll Booker.
The great piano player.
Oh, yeah.
The late great.
Well, if I don't love you, baby, Well, if I don't love you, baby, say if I don't love you, baby, grits and groceries, eggs and poultry, Mona Lisa was a man. Listen here, all around the world, I'd rather be a fly. I light on my baby, stay with her till I die. With a toothpick in my hand, I dig a 10-foot ditch, running through the jungle, fighting lions with a switch. Because you know I love you, baby. You know I love you, baby. If I don't love you, baby, grits and groceries, eggs and poultry, Mona Lisa was a man. All around the world, I never will forget, I lost all my money, my woman and my pet. I got to have you, baby, I settle for nothing less. I give up all my good time, girl, instead for happiness. Because you know I love you, baby. Yeah, you know I love you, baby. Well, if I don't love you, baby, grits and groceries, eggs and poultry, Mona Lisa was a man. Play one last. Got blisters on my feet, trying to find my baby, bring her home with me. If you run into me, woman, you got to be convinced. If you don't run into me, you ain't got no sense. Cause you know I love you, baby. Yeah, you know I love you, baby. Well, you know I love you, baby. Your smiling face is my heavenly light. Yeah, yeah, you know I love you, baby. Well, you know I love you, baby. You know I love you, baby. Well, you know I love you, baby. And if I don't love you, baby, grits and groceries, eggs and poultry, Mona Lisa was a man.
Yeah, it's R&B soul poetry if ever there was,
yeah,
man.
I used to love hearing James Booker do that, man. He would. I had the good pleasure, man, of seeing him almost once or twice a week when he was playing for the One More Time show at the Toulouse
great
Theater in the
piano player.
70s. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was playing just in the lobby, man. Nobody was there.
Yeah.
You know,
that does seem in New Orleans to happen a lot, that some of the greatest performers are just unknown to the general public.
Right.
Outside of the family world or the neighborhood world.
Right, right. You know, that's why I think it never bothered me, you know, not being really famous, you know. I was still doing music, you know. It's like we do it for work, you know.
Well, yeah, you're internationally famous locally. Something like that.
Right.
Let's talk voice for a minute. I mean,
Yes.
the voice is an instrument. Your
Yes, it
voice,
is.
I assume, is God-given, but also trained in your own way and what you've wanted to do. But how do you feel how did you find your voice to do these things and have the confidence to get out and sing?
Well, you know, back to my sisters, they were always singing, man, and they were like, would have the CYO, the Christian Youth Organization, whatever they call it, the Catholic Youth Organization.
I think it's Catholic
Yeah, the
Youth.
Catholic Youth
Yeah,
Organization.
right, yeah.
They'd have all these little talent shows and stuff. And my sisters would always compete. Lillian was always the star. She was singing. And my sister Lynette, they would just tell her to move her mouth not to sing. Sorry, Lynette. But there were a bunch of people, all my sisters were singing. And when I started playing, before I played the horn, as a kid, you know, I would be making up songs.
Yeah.
You know, I would be singing to my dog or singing to whoever would listen, right? And I had this incredibly high voice, man. You know what I mean? It's high now, but it was even higher.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, Nick, at one time I stopped singing because that's when I entered into college. I stopped singing because they said, the speech pathologists and all said that there was something wrong with my voice because of the airiness, and it was just some things that cut my confidence, and I just didn't sing. And then they went through. They gave me tests to see if there was any nodules. I was all fine, but this is just my voice.
Yeah.
So then afterwards, people say, "You sound like a girl."
Oh yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not."
These years later, I mean, you've passed 6 decades, and you've put a lot of mileage on your voice.
I put a whole lot of mileage on it, man.
How do you take care of it?
I just, thank goodness. I can't say thank goodness for that, but one of the looking on the bright side of something, the pandemic has given me vocal rest that I needed so desperately, which I try to do even before that, but people don't understand when you say, I can't sing today. Oh, you can do it? No, you can't, because if you break it, you can't go buy a new string. No. You got to hope that it will heal. So I've just been I've always talked softly also. People say, speak up. And I'm like, no. Well, you hear me when you want to hear me. You know what I'm saying? They say, people say you're mumbling. I'm like, yes, I know. I'm mumbling.
Well, voice is it's one of the things
to save my voice.
Voice is one of the things that defines people's humanity, and we always say so and so has a voice, or we speak. We tend to think animals don't speak. That maybe they do when we're not listening.
Oh, they talk.
Yeah, okay, especially out in the woods. But
Yep.
You have a unique voice, and people know it as a signature. Now, you've got 3 gentlemen here behind you who we have not heard from, but we have heard their musical voices. Yes. Could you tell us who's here with you in the studio today?
Absolutely. Here on the guitar, we have Caleb Tokoska.
All right,
Caleb Tokoska.
Thanks for being here, man.
And Caleb's been with us for, what, 2 years now, a year and a half? How long have you been playing with me?
2 years, probably.
2 years. It's gone on 2 years. Caleb's been with me. He came in. He's an incredible player, man. I really love.
Sounds great.
Having him here. Couldn't get that out, could I? On the bass, we have Mr. Nobumasa Osaki, who's been with me, I guess, about how long? 15?
Long time,
years.
Shout it out.
Yeah, he's long time.
Yeah.
Long time. I love Nobumasa Osaki. He's been living in New Orleans for 20 years or so or more now. And just incredible bass player. And I love him, and he's also got perfect pitch, and that's great to have somebody
that
like that
helpful.
on the bass. Especially the bass when you got the bass player with it. So.
Yeah.
And Oscar Rosagnoli, who is just an incredible piano player, and just all of these guys are beautiful human beings also, man. Nice guys to work with, stress-free. And they're young, and they're healthy, as healthy as we can be during COVID, right?
Right.
But Oscar's incredible. He's studied at, was it Tulane? UNO, I'm sorry.
Great UNO jazz program, University of New Orleans.
Program, right. And he's a teacher, he's an educator, he's an incredible classical piano player, and I'm so freaking lucky to have him and all these guys.
Yeah.
I really am. And I got to put a shout out for my dear friend, Christopher Todd Duke, who was with me for almost 20 years and passed 3 years ago. And this is my band after Todd passed away, and he actually, when he heard me with Oscar, he told me, he said I was in good hands.
Yeah. Yeah, passing the torch.
Yeah. Really.
Well, it's a hard time in pandemic for everybody everywhere, but here in a town where people make a living through music, where tourists visit, where local families celebrate through music, has the pandemic been difficult for you and the band to, get out and be heard and do the things you'd like to do?
Sure, man. It's so many cancellations, and then if there's not cancellations, I don't want to put myself or any of my band members or any of my fans in jeopardy.
Right.
I just can't do that, man. I was
Yeah.
a military officer. I can't do that.
You got to take that responsibility.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
do that. So it's been some venues I've said no to. A lot of venues have opened up so that we could do it outside and work, which is
Right.
smart. But it's still, man, Nick, the fact is that because we didn't do the right thing, it's going to be 4 years.
Yeah.
Playing
catch up.
It's for 4 years. And this is all pandemics. I mean, you don't have to believe me. Don't Google it. Pick up a book if you want to.
Yeah.
And find this out. All the pandemics that we've recorded have lasted 3 to 4 years. But that's before we were flying all over the world.
Right.
Right? So, the bets are off on that. So who knows?
I will mention that you've been playing down at DBA to a pretty much all masked crew over there. So
Right,
you
right,
get
yeah.
out in public, but it's a small group that is willing to wear their masks
They're
and hang
willing
in.
to wear their masks, and they're vaccinated. They have
Yeah.
to show their vaccinations at the door.
Right.
And I really want to threaten them and say, dude, if I get sick, I'm not coming back here again. But you can't blame people, man. But, you can't blame people for not protecting themselves and their fellow citizens. That's the patriotic thing to do. Protect yourself, protect your fellow citizens, and protect our country by going out and doing the right thing, man, so we can be ready. We're not ready.
Let me ask
People
you
are
to.
sick. When you're sick, you ain't ready.
This is true. Let me ask you to give us some musical health for all the people out there
Oh.
listening to American Roots. What would put everybody in a healthy mood?
Oh, that's a good question.
Happy, healthy
Oh,
mood.
happy. Yeah, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. Oh gosh. Who? Oh yeah, this is good. That's a good segue, man. We need everybody go out there and get your shots because you need to be a good neighbor. Love your brothers and your sisters, man. And this is a song that addresses that. It's called Good Neighbor. Well, if I live next door, baby, if I live next door, we would sleep less, but I'd see you more. Well, if I live next door, and if I live next door, you wouldn't have far to score. You could bang on my wall to make a Boutte call. Well, if I live next door, because I'm a good neighbor, and I'm a good friend. You know that I am. I'm a good neighbor, yes, and you're in good hands. When it starts to rain, I'll come and check your drains. If it takes all night to tighten up your pipes, you won't hear me complain, because I'm a good neighbor, yeah, and I'm a good friend. You know that I am. I'm a good neighbor, well, you're in good hands. Step into my kitchen, baby. We gonna whip up something fast. I'll stuff that oyster pie for you, honey. Close the windows so the world sees your yes, 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 yes. Well, if I live next door, baby, if I live next door, you could drop by, bring a friend or four. Well, if I live next door, because I'm a good neighbor, yeah, and I'm a good friend. Well, you know that I am. I'm a good neighbor. Well, you're in good hands. I know you're in good hands. Believe me, baby, you're in good hands. Won't neighbor.
All right, a great song for New Orleans. A lot of people here do take care of each other as
Oh
good
yeah,
neighbors.
man, we certainly do. There's a little double entendre, but
Yeah, well, there's that too.
yeah,
They take care of
course.
each other that way.
Absolutely.
Hey, you know, what was the city like for you as a kid? Just going to school, walking around. I mean,
It was beautiful,
yeah.
man. You know, I guess everybody romanticizes about their childhood, but I can tell you, it was gorgeous, man.
It was genuinely romantic.
It was really was a tight neighborhood. I would walk maybe about a half a mile to school through the 7th Ward, and my old grandaunt next door would come out, man. She'd have a bonnet on and gloves and everything, you know. She was so light-skinned, they didn't get any sun on them, right? But she would walk me through those neighborhoods, and then we'd walk back home. And I knew everybody in every house. I literally knew everybody in every house that I passed.
Urban village.
Right, it was like a village, man, and you could smell people. You could smell the breakfasts cooking. You could smell people cooking lunch or dinner when you passed through there. They had fabulous gardens. You could smell whenever the jasmines, the roses were blooming, man. All that was just, it was so beautiful, and it was just everything was very tacturnal in New Orleans, man,
Yeah.
you know, and sensual. Even as a kid, things were, you know, the smells, the sounds, and everything was just incredible, man. It was, you know, and that was before they put up the interstate through that neighborhood,
Right.
where we could actually smell.
Yeah, the
Because
Tremaine
once-
neighborhood. Yeah,
right.
Claiborne Avenue.
Right. Once you put that
And off into the 7th Ward.
yeah, they just ruined that neighborhood, man. They ruined that whole strip, you know.
Yeah. But I'm sorry.
I gotta just say that it was one of those neighborhoods you'd walk through, and you had to say hello to everybody. you know,
Yeah.
you were walking, say hey now, hey now, hey now, hello,
Yeah.
right, the whole way there, and it was very safe because. You talk about GPS? That was the GPS. If your mom wanted to know where you was, she could call anybody along that route
I like
and
it.
find out where you were.
Yeah.
And it was just like that.
Keeping
man.
the families together.
Right, and everybody knew everybody. They knew the kids because the kids looked like their parents. So you might, you know, I know who your mama is.
No
or-
escaping. Hey, you've got a song that kind of puts us on the map. I was going to ask you about where did the song come from? Foot of Canal Street.
So this was, you know, I stopped writing for a while, and when I got back to writing again, it was actually Michelle Schock who kind of introduced me to Paul Sanchez, Keb Mo. It was an incredible group of people. Keb Mo gave me his card. Keb, if you're listening, send me your number, dude. I lost your card. But it was a group of people, a group of writers and stuff. Long story short, Paul and I were at his house, at another friend's house, and I said, dude, we need some inspiration. We were going around to Katz and Bestoff, K&B, to get some liquid inspiration.
Yeah, the old drugstores.
Right.
Well,
And
they did have drugs.
Right, exactly.
As well as booze.
Right, man. So we were going there, and Paul, the cemeteries are at, you know, down there. And Paul looked at me and he says, you know, my dad's buried down there.
Yeah.
I said, you know, Paul, my dad's buried there too.
Talking about the cemeteries at the end of Canal Street.
Right. I said, he's on the other side, right?
Right.
And I said, you know, it's all moot, man. It's all moot because we're all going to end up at the foot of Canal Street.
You know, I love in New Orleans that we have buses that just say cemeteries on them.
Right, right.
That's where
as
they're going.
As a kid, man.
Well, that's where we're all going.
That
But
fascinated me as a kid. I was like, I'm not getting on that bus.
Ah.
Where's it taking me? Cemeteries? No way.
Well, let's live with it as a song for now.
Yes, yeah, you're right. So this is called At the Foot of Canal Street. Don't waste your time being angry when a moment is better with a smile. And if you feel your time has been wasted down here for a while. I was standing at that bus stop. Oh, it was just across from Krause. Waiting for the driver to take me to my heavenly house. I see you there at the foot of Canal Street. Or what will they wear at the foot of Canal? Or will the band be playing at the foot of Canal Street? What will the people be saying at the foot of Canal Street? Does your father lie there? Does your mama pray? I'm gonna lay my burdens down at the foot of Canal Street. And when the riverbanks are overflowing, the streetcar has seen its day. When all is gone, the plantations, the Treme and the Vucare, I'll be swinging to the music way up on a higher ground, where Pops is blowing walk on, a brigade will make it sacred sounds. I see you there at the foot of Canal Street. What will they wear at the foot of Canal Street? Will the band be playing at the foot of Canal Street? What will the people be saying at the foot of Canal Street? Does your father lie there? Does your mama pray? I'm gonna lay my burdens at the foot of Canal Street. At the foot of Canal, or will a band be playing at the foot of Canal Street? What will the people be saying at the foot of Canal Street? Does your father lie there? Does your mama pray? I'm gonna lay my burdens down. I'm gonna put on my golden crown. I'll be moving up to higher ground at the foot of Canal Street.
This is American Roots, and we're here with John Boutte and band, and we've been talking about life in the city and family and music. But nowadays, you live out across the lake, out in the countryside. I know you had folks out there and still do, but tell us about country life.
Well, Nick, it's probably one of the best things I ever did was buy some land out in Lacombe.
Bayou Lacombe.
Bayou Lacombe, which is an old Choctaw, Chawa Indian spot right there. That was their land. And right now it's basically Creole folks, people with Indian heritage, black people, white people who don't know they're black.
Some of the white Creoles out there in the mix.
All of you all.
I met Sicilians out there, Irish.
Everything, man. Yeah. It's such a mixture.
It looks like South Louisiana out there.
It's South Louisiana.
And they all seem to get along pretty well.
Right. It's great. It's unincorporated, and everybody knows each other, and it's quiet, and it's lots of nature. And I love the fact that I don't hear the zoom, zoom, zoom of the cars, and, I'm waking up to the birds.
I was saying the birds wake you up there.
The birds wake me up, and, the owls at night, and, crickets, and being able to see the Milky Way because there's no light pollution, and being able to just walk the land. It's just, it's really nice. It's pastoral, but I was only 40 minutes away from New Orleans, man.
The big heart of things.
Yeah, exactly. I could jump into the chaos anytime I want. Right?
Oh, that's a nice way to look at it.
I know I do. I love it, man, that I can come. But I tell you, sometimes I come back, man, and they say we were resilient in Louisiana, but I'm getting tired of getting resilient, man.
Resilience only carries you so far.
Kind of like,
you were telling me you've been eating some resilient mushrooms out there.
Yes, yes. Actually, I showed you earlier. It was
We're not talking magic mushrooms here. We're talking
No, not
yes.
yet. But not yet. They're using that for PTSD, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But no, there's lion's mane that grows out there that I've been privy to, and also oyster mushrooms.
You privy to it means you've been picking them and
I've
eating
been
them.
picking them, man. Look, when you see this big old cotton ball thing coming out of a dead tree, and you say, "Ooh, can I eat that?" That's Louisiana, right? And you can, and guess what? It tastes like crab, and the texture is like lobster.
Uh-oh.
I kid you not. And guess who's got it in the stores now? I can't say the name because I don't want to,
You can say the name.
Whole Food.
Okay, it's all right. I
Whole
think they
Foods
call it
got
whole
lion's
paycheck around
mane,
here,
dude.
actually.
They get mine, that's for sure.
So it's
And I'm sorry, I want to say that also, living out there, I'm growing food, man. I'm growing my own food.
What are you
man.
growing?
Well, I just harvest some organic purple sweet potatoes that are freaking incredible, dude, man.
Yeah.
Cats and Best Off, right?
The old drugstore down here.
The big purple. I made a sweet potato pie out of it. If they had that potato, they would still be in business.
Yeah, I was thinking with all the vegetables you've been growing and everything you've been picking, that soon it'll be, Farmer John on the roadside. You'll have a little roadside stand. And
Well, I actually was inquiring with my accountant about getting farmer status because I've got blueberries on the farm, I've got guava plants on there, and I'm growing food.
yeah,
I
I just want to see you, but by the roadside stand with signs and singing songs to the passersby and drawing them in.
No, you know what I honestly been thinking of doing? Getting a VA loan. I've never asked anything for them. Right?
Yeah.
Getting a VA loan and trying to get registered with LSU to grow medical marijuana.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right? Because
You have a bright future ahead of you as
very
a
bright.
farmer.
As a
farmer John.
look, man, I was telling people that's where the reparations are for black people these days. Y'all go and become farmers. They put a lot of money for us in the farm bill, dude, agriculture bill. So, one way or another, we got to get those reparations. So become a farmer, start growing.
You got any songs that remind you of the natural world out there?
Yeah, I guess so. Which, down.
I saw Little Red Rooster, but that's a whole nother level.
We could do that.
Sure, why not?
Oh, I know, just since you said that, we're going to go to the Little Red Rooster, but since you said that, we're going to do this. There was a boy, a very strange, enchanted boy. They say he wandered very far over land and sea. A little shy and sad of eye, but very wise was he. And then one day, one magic day, he passed my way. And though we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return. day, one magic day he passed my way. And though we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing you ever learned is just to love and be loved in return.
Love those songs about the magic boy there.
I said, yeah, man, that's a great tune. I love Nat King Cole. That's another, one of my favorite artists.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, Nat,
Incredible
man, everything
voice.
he did. Actually, with this trio, Caleb has been playing his electric guitar, but the neck broke. I mean, his acoustic guitar, but the neck is being repaired right now. But that's the soundscape that I've been trying to get. That
Yeah, but of course, Nat King Cole often had the electric guitar in there too.
He did,
In
he
a
did.
soft electric sound with
That's
jazz,
exactly right.
R&B. So it all sounds great, guys.
And you know how he came up with that trio, right? The drummer didn't show up.
Oh, is that right?
It
Yeah.
was a TV game.
No need to give the drummer something. huh?
Right, the drummer didn't show up, and he just kept that trio.
Well, everyone's carrying the rhythm so well, and you're popping fingers, so
Well,
you know.
another thing. Look, that's a rhythm instrument.
You're pointing to
That's
the
a rhythm
piano. That's
instrument.
right.
And
Sure.
a bass, so
Yeah.
that's rhythm in these fingers.
And we are hearing some fine melodies too.
Yeah,
we might
that's
add.
what I like also, man. I love the melodies, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the intimacy of the sound. That was my point, to get something that was that good, a good soundscape around my voice.
Well, we're in an old nightclub here. Was a dance hall and a club. Luthgens right here at the edge of the French Quarter, just down the river from the French
Right.
Quarter.
This was also, they used to call this the old bead exchange.
Oh yeah.
You remember that? That's going really far back, man.
Yeah.
This was
bead exchange.
The
huh?
bead exchange.
You mean like where people brought in their Mardi Gras beads,
I guess that's what they were exchanging.
or their rosaries? Yeah, or both.
Right, yeah. Right,
I like the Mardi Gras beads that are made out of rosary beads.
Right, the glass beads, that was the old time
yeah.
beads,
Those
man.
fine glass beads.
Those were nice.
People still
man.
fight for those when they can
Right.
fly.
Oh, they fight for all that stuff.
Plastic,
man.
I don't know. So what's your life at Mardi Gras like? Do you hide out in the woods with the birds, or you come down to the middle of the chaos?
No, as a kid, I saw my first Indian on Paga.
Mardi Gras Indian, black
Mardi
masking
Gras
Indian.
yeah, right. Mardi Gras Indian. I'm not sure. It was probably the Creole Osceolas or something like that, or the Yellow Pocahontas, one of those tribes, right? And it was a wild man coming down the street with a big old ham bone with meat still on it. Looked like he had taken somebody's leg off and he was running. I was terrified, man. I was trying to break into those French doors, right? To get away from him, man. But I would always follow the Indians, and at that time we didn't have the interstate. So people would, as a kid, the Creole folks and the black folks, we would be underneath the trees on St. Bernard, just having incredible carnival, man. And then we'd venture up to see Rex, or Zulu, actually. We'd go out to see Zulu on Orleans Avenue.
The big carnival parade.
Right,
so the White Uptown Parade and the famous Zulu African American.
Right,
parade,
exactly. Yeah. And we'd maybe catch Rex, and then we'd get back before the truck parades come, because we were target practice for those guys.
Oh yeah, they throw a lot of toys.
Yeah, they would throw. Yeah, but they were throwing at us, literally. But now these days, for the last 20, maybe 25 years, my first agent, Judy Latour, she's passed now years ago, but Judy Latour told me, come on out and join them with the crew of St. Anne.
Oh right.
And I've done it every year since. I've never missed one.
Beautiful suits, beautiful
The costumes
masks.
are great. I bring my cornet out. I blow my horn all day.
Oh yeah.
I picked up the horn about a month and a half ago to get my armature ready for Mardi Gras, right?
No kidding.
So yeah, we'll play the cornet, and I have a great day, man. It's
Yeah.
incredible. My feet are tired. Everything's tired by the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, you got a little time to get ready for it.
Yes.
Yeah, you've been blowing your horn all afternoon here too, I have to say, and I appreciate that in that way. What you got in mind?
I don't know. These
Let's
guys,
consult with the high command here.
I got to tell you, right? When I call these guys and I send them the set list, they said, "Dude, we don't know any of the names of these tunes because I always change the names of the tunes, right? So we play the same tunes, but they all have different names." Well, the same tune has different names.
Oh, well, the listeners at home are, they're following along, with a tune sheet here. So, just give them a couple words to hang on to. It's up to you.
All right. Oh, yeah, here we go. Go ahead on. This is what I like to call my Jesus-free gospel. I wanna see that beautiful city. Hey, Lord, I wanna see that beautiful city. Yes, I wanna see that beautiful city. I'd like to see that beautiful city one of these days, and I wanna sit at the welcome table. Yes, I wanna sit at the welcome table. I wanna sit at the welcome table. I'd like to sit at the welcome table. See that beautiful city one of these days, and I wanna sing and never get tired. I like singing, never get tired. I wanna sing and never get tired. Sing and never get tired. Sit at the welcome table. See that beautiful city one of these days, one of these days. One of these days, one of these days, yeah, one of these days, one of these days, hey, one of these days, one of these days, yeah, one of these days, I'm gonna sing and never get tired, sit at the welcome table, see that beautiful city, one of these days, one of these, woo!
I'd like to think you can be a good person without having to be one particular creed or religion. You can be in the spirit. You can take care of your fellow man.
Absolutely, man. That's what we genetically engineered to do. We really are.
Yeah.
We're animals. Who want to be together, man.
Right.
We're pack animals.
Well, I always tell people that they say sometimes, Nick, you're too optimistic. You're too hopeful. And I said, well, hope is my secular belief. It just is how I have to believe in the world. And what's the alternative? No hope?
Well, you know what? This is not to get religious on you, but I would say this, that, if there's faith, hope, and love, faith, hope, and love, right?
Right.
if the love diminishes and the faith diminishes, there's always hope. And that hope is the candle that can light the other two to back up.
Yeah, bring them back along.
So we got to have hope, man. Otherwise, you're done.
Yeah. Well, you did go to church, though, as a kid, right? Catholic church.
Oh, yeah.
Which one did you go to?
I went to Corpus Christi.
Oh, famous church.
Corpus Christi is one of the biggest...
great Creole congregation.
Right, one of the largest African-American congregations, Catholic congregations in America. And, that's where I went. I went till I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
And,
you ever want to be an altar boy?
oh, no way. They would never, man. That church, the holy water would have burned over if I brought my Scorpio behind on that.
It would have boiled out.
Oh, Lord. They didn't want me. I was too smart.
Oh, there you go.
I was too smart to do that.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know. At 15, my mom was really, I had the best. My mother and father were the best, man. At 15, I came back from church and I told my mom, don't never wake me up for that again. And you know what she said?
What?
Okay.
Okay, Mom.
Right.
Mom was cool.
She 15 years, she said she did her part.
Yeah.
And she knew she had intelligent children.
Yeah.
Because she was smart, my dad was smart, and then I got smart.
There you go. Well, this is still a Catholic city where people
Catholic city.
whether people practice Catholicism constantly
You're
or
full
not.
of it. It's like
it is
voodoo.
ingrained here in I think generally a positive way of people helping one another and feeling that there is a larger spirit presence in the world, and it affects how people get together. The Catholic schools were integrated when private and public schools were not. And nobody was perfect, but there was a lot of things that Catholicism made possible here in terms of free people of color and the old ways of the French and all that. So
Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you, they did, from that standpoint, like I said, my first Catholic school was Xavier, and that was one of the universities that they put up in particular for African Americans, Creoles, and Indians.
And I think it's the only black Catholic university in the Western Hemisphere.
I think you're right about that.
Sister Drexel from Philadelphia becomes the founding person.
Right. Thank goodness that rich people got converted and they're spending money in the right way. Huh? Thank y'all.
So we don't have to keep it all sacred here all the time. What's on your secular mind with music at this point? Huh?
Let's see. Oh, that's a good one, man. A little bit quicker. I need someone's hand to lead me through the night, and I need someone's arms to hold and squeeze me tight. And when the night begins and the evening ends, I need your love so bad. I need a pair of lips to press next to mine, and I need someone to stand up and tell me when I'm lying, when the lights are low and it's time to go. I need your love so bad, baby, baby, give it up. Give it up and bring it home. Bring it on home to me. You might write it. You can write it on a piece of paper that it could be read to me. Tell me that you love me and stop driving me mad. That I need your love. I need your love so that will hold me at night. Don't worry, baby. You know that we don't worry, baby. We won't fuss or fight. Now listen to my plea, baby. Come on and bring it on home to me. I need your love so bad. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I need your love so bad. Ooh, so bad.
All right, John Boutte and the Gentleman, a great secular love song. It's kind of blues, got some jazz in it, soul.
Little Willie John.
Yeah.
I think that's who I picked that up from.
All right. Yeah, it's a beautiful song. I like how Oscar managed to get you in there with the opening chords there. Oscar called the tune. Thank you for calling the tune on that one.
That's usually the case sometimes when I'm lost. They just kind of...
You're lost right now. Get up there.
Yeah, so I said sometimes when I'm lost, right? Yeah, fall from the mic. Sometimes when I'm lost, they just start rolling into the right thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the mark of working together. Also, I want to say, in a place like this where we're in a studio, you don't have to shout to hit the back wall of a concert hall or a club. So it's nice to hear you both with your voice quality. You can hear it, but you don't have to strain to do something.
It's exactly right, man.
Beautiful. You sound great. Everyone sounds great.
We had a interesting gig about a month ago at Cafe Istanbul here, and Caleb had his acoustic guitar that night, and we had the piano, which is acoustic, and the bass also, but the sound man didn't show up.
Uh-oh.
And that's what everybody said, right? But the room was so acoustically beautiful. We did it without a sound man.
Nice.
And I felt so free, and I felt like finally people got to hear my voice, not my voice that was manipulated through the sound system as how someone else perceived I should sound.
Yeah.
Right? And it was fabulous, man. And I'm looking forward to maybe doing that again.
Yeah.
Well,
the sound man did show up today.
Yeah, but
his name is Rick Nelson. He's hiding behind the glass, but he gives us beautiful sound.
Hey, Rick, right?
Yeah.
Rick, thank you, man. This, I'm glad you don't have monitors in this room either, because we don't need them.
Yeah. Rick is nodding for
so smart.
everyone to hear. Well, I was going to go to the keep with the love theme. I mean, that's a slow burn love song with the blues in it, but a little more. What do they say on the fleshly side of love? Little Red Rooster. We were talking about birds, but we didn't bring up the roosters.
Let's do Little Red.
Let's take it up a little.
Too lazy to crow for days. I got a little red rooster, too lazy to crow for days. He keep all the hens in the hen house upset in so many ways. Dogs began to bark and the hounds began to howl. Well, the dogs began to bark and the hounds began to howl. Look out, all you kinfolk, my little red rooster's on the prowl. He keeps all the hens in the hen house fighting among themselves. You know that he keeps all the hens in the hen house fighting among themselves. He don't want them laying eggs for nobody else. Well, if you see my red rooster, send him on home. Well, if you see my red rooster, send him on home. Ain't been no peace in the barnyard since my red rooster been gone. rooster, too lazy to crow for dance. I got a little red rooster, too lazy to crow for dance. He keep all the hens in the hen house upset in so many ways. Well, the dogs began to bark and the hounds began to howl. The dogs began to bark and the hounds began to howl. Look out all you kinfolk, my little red rooster's on a prowl. Well, he keeps all the hens in the hen house fighting among themselves. You know that he keeps all the hens in the hen house fighting among themselves. He don't want those hens laying eggs for nobody else. Well, if you see my red rooster, bring him on home. Say if you see my red rooster, send him on home. Ain't been no peace in the barnyard since my red rooster been gone. I threw that tambourine out the window, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're walking around like the little red rooster here today. You can do whatever you want with the tambourine. You got any in the barnyard? Any roosters and chickens?
No, you know, my sister has some down the street, but there's 3 roosters that crow every morning.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so funny because some of them have a real good crow and other ones are like,
Yeah, they need to rest their vocal cords.
like, what is that?
They need a year off.
Yes, I'm like, really, man.
I guess you don't need any more roosters crowing, huh?
No, but I don't mind. I don't mind hearing the roosters in the morning, man. You know, because I'm usually up before them.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I'm up. Like,
Roosters gather and say, Boutte's singing a song, everybody get up.
Right, I'm out there with my horns and I beat you.
Hey, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Treme. I mean, I know you grew up in the around the world of Treme and
Yes.
New Orleans, Gentilly and out across Claiborne Avenue. But tell us a little about your involvement with the TV show Treme and how you felt about doing television, both as yourself and in a fictional world of a show.
You know, that was really that was a special moment, Nick, because I had been on the road. I had been on the road a whole lot, and I remember I'd just come back from a place called Penticton, and it was way up in like the Yukon in in Canada, and it was February, something like that, and I was up there trying to make money. Freezing, I was on this like plane that didn't even have, it was like a military plane, so you had to be, it wasn't pretty warm. But anyway, when I got home, I was just kind of like, I was so over it. I was washing dishes, looking out of the window, in the yard saying, man, something's got to give, what am I doing? And the phone rings, and I get this guy with a British accent. And he says, hi, I'm Blake Lay, and, I'm with HBO, and I want to buy that song or put it in the series. And I hung up on him because I thought it was one of my friends just being an ass, right?
Your friends probably don't do British accents that well.
He confirmed who he was. And that song I wrote back in 1993. I was living on... in the Treme, it was St. Claude Street now, it's Henrietta DeVille. And I wrote that tune right there on the porch one morning because I heard a brass band playing a dirge coming out of the church. And the bass drum woke me up with a boom, boom. And I was fixing my coffin. By the time I got outside, they were playing the dirge, and they cut the body loose. They cut the body loose right in front of my house. That means they stopped playing the slow music, and they released the body, and the band started playing faster music, upbeat. And I just ran inside and did a silly little clave, and 2-chord, 3-chord Molly tune, right? And the lyrics, though, for me were important.
Yeah.
And, I started off hanging in the trim, watching people sashay past my steps by my porch in front of my door. And when you're writing songs, you want a visual thing. I wasn't thinking that, but I was
Sure.
seeing that, and that's what I wrote.
Yeah.
And I think also by saying hanging in the trim, it invokes the idea of somebody being lynched. So there I had death. And then watching people sashay.
I was hoping that was hanging out, actually.
Right. But follow me here. Watching people sashay was the voyeurism, if that's a word, right?
Yeah, watching
I
the
just
folks
made
go
it up
by.
if it's not, right?
Yeah.
So, right, it's not my word, okay. I can't repeat it, though. Anyway, so that's the sex. So in the opening line, you had sex and death. The two things that people are born and go to their graves never figuring out.
Oh, yeah, it's a certain amount of
And
gravity in life.
so that's what I think,
Living without.
that's my analogy. I'm just a lucky son of a gun.
So the song came long before the show.
Oh, boy, so long before the show, people ask me, what are you doing with your life? I said, I'm writing songs. What are you doing with them? I'm trying to sell them. It's just all the negative things. And I always tell people, they don't have a shelf life.
Right.
They're not going to rot. Sooner or later, somebody's going to pick it up. And they did.
Well, the show did make the song famous.
They did. And not only that, they would have put me in, I think they would have put me more on, in some acting roles, but I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to like, it's something, you can't, being number 8 out of 10, I never want to grab too much. I just want to grab what I need,
You're fine acting as John Boutte.
I'm great acting as John Boutte.
Yeah,
Good,
well,
but
there you
I
go.
could look, if there's any roles out there, I've done other stuff now,
Yeah.
right? I think I could be like a real, I could be a good, anything.
Maybe
don't wanna
we'll take
limit
a vote with
myself.
the band. We'll set up some categories and decide, everyone's being so polite, and quiet here. Well, we'll talk about that afterwards, what John could be. But you're very good at being John Boutte. And
I'm
would
very
you,
good
would
at
you
that.
mind giving us yet another live moment
Yes,
with the
absolutely.
Treme song?
Oh, you kidding, man? Look, every time I'm so, I gotta just say this, Nick. During the when they first were playing Treme on HBO and they were having watch parties everywhere in the city, I couldn't go because I'd fall apart every time it came on.
Yeah.
Over that silly song.
Yeah.
And I was usually in the house having a,
Have a little, little.
you know what I'm.
Little
Oops,
tea.
I forgot we be. I forgot we were on film too. You caught my sign language there.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Right? So
yeah.
I was comfortable.
I think it came over on the radio. They can see it now.
Yeah.
Just you can't escape it, man. So don't worry about it.
It's legal. Anyway, yeah. So I love this. I'm so happy that I wrote this silly song, and that you guys like it. It's not silly because it did put attention on the Treme, man. For how many years and nobody ever evoked the Treme in songs. It was just
Despite all of its power in
everything,
music
man.
and in
People
culture.
talk. And another thing that Blake told me, one of the reasons why they took it was that I never said New Orleans. I never said anything about the French Quarters or all the iconic stuff.
Right.
But yet, when you listen to that song and the lyrics, you know just where you were going to be.
That's right. And what makes the Treme iconic too, which deserved to be.
So here you go, y'all. Hanging in a tree, watching people sashay past my steps, by my porch, in front of my door. Bass drum is swinging, big horn is singing, while trombone bones and a big hormone, the saxophone. In the trip, me and my baby, we're going crazy. Buck jumping and having fun. Church bells are ringing, choir is singing, while preacher drums and a sister moan in a blessed tune. Buck jumping and having fun. Woo! Maze, me and my baby, we're going crazy. Buck jumping and having fun. In the trail maze, and my baby, we're going crazy. Buck jumping and having fun.
John Boutte and band here in the studio. We're, I guess, about a mile from the Treme, down by the river. But, man, that is such an evocative tune.
I love the tune, man. It's so silly, but every time I hear it, man, I'm like, I heard it on the radio yesterday also, man. It just makes me smile, man.
Yeah. Nobu, your bass line is incredible.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that right? You
know
wrote
who,
it, huh?
You know who's the bass player on that? On the original recording was Bill Huntington.
Okay.
Bill Huntington, man. And, you know, Bill played with Al Hurt, you know, for years, man.
Yeah.
And I was lucky to have him with my band, and he was incredible. Just
Well, it's a great
incredible.
New Orleans feel, but kind of updated with jazz and, you know, finger pop and really beautiful.
And Shannon Powell was on drums.
Oh, the great drummer. Sure.
Yeah. He did that that intro, man. It was so beautiful, right? That was a great session too, man.
You know, and New Orleans is a town where people have fun at Carnival, and they go out to the clubs and they dance in the streets and get to the second lines. But it's also a town where there have been some important things that have happened in civil rights. You know, we think of Rosa Parks, and we think about today to redress the balance in education and income and trying to build a better, more equitable city. But you've always been interested and concerned about social justice.
Oh yeah, of course, man. In fact, when I was a kid, you know, they called me the militant midget. Because I was stirring up everything. I saw the injustices. I saw a lot of things. I was like, what? How is this happening? You know, why am I being treated different? You know, and my people are being treated different. And you know, certain places you couldn't go and you could go, et cetera, man. You know, so yeah, I was in a car when with my mother passing in front of the Roosevelt Hotel when she gasped, man, because she heard the news of Martin Luther King being shot. You know,
Yeah, in Memphis. Yeah.
and you know, she
Motel.
was, you know, when we got home, she tied a black ribbon around our antenna. I was like, I never knew why she did that. She wanted to let him know that was a black person's car. So that, you know, because she didn't know what, you know, people get tired.
Yeah.
You know, at a certain time, you can only take so much. Just remember that. Everybody's got a breaking point, man. And that was, you know, New Orleans actually was like one of the focal points in the civil rights movement. We've always been.
Right.
I was speaking to Ranger Karen earlier about Plessy.
Plessy versus Ferguson.
Right. Well, I went to
separate but equal case.
Right. I went to school with his great grandson,
Ah.
Keith Plessy, man, real tight like that. So that's all very tight. Revis Artique, who was one of the lawyers here, black lawyers here, and just so many people who started the civil rights movement basically here. They had headquarters. Leah Chase, she fed them.
Yeah, right.
She housed
chef,
them.
right?
You know, they had
Chase's.
like a network so they could operate. But New Orleans has always been on the forefront, man, you know. And, you know, I look at the Marigny right now, right?
The neighborhood we're in, the Faubourg Marigny.
Right, exactly. And, you know, my mom had 10 kids, and the last thing she would ever want to do, although she felt in her heart, she didn't want to jeopardize us by going out protesting. But when she saw she saw these men and women spitting on black kids going into that school, my daddy had to stop her.
Right.
Because she was ready to go. She was like, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, yeah, we got a long freaking way to go in America, guys. You know, and people need to really wake up because I thought things, at 63, I thought things were getting better and better and better. I thought things were going to be getting better and better. And, you know, it seems like the last 4 years, actually, I'll be honest with you, since 1980, you know, we took a bad turn with this individualism stuff, you know. No, we're not individuals. I was saying that earlier, you know. We need each other.
Yeah.
We all need each other. And we can't get along without each other.
Well, New Orleans' great contribution of the 20th century, and it's first and foremost an African-American Afro-Creole contribution, is jazz, which is
Right.
a freedom music, a freedom of expression. People become professionals and known as great players, and all of what jazz represents is a counterpoint to Jim Crow.
Right.
But that doesn't mean there isn't pain and segregation and discrimination and lack of justice. So jazz sings out, but there's still that going on. And we were lucky that jazz got to the rest of the country and the world, too.
Right. And
I mean, to me, it gives us, I'm back to my hope for things, you know.
yeah, I'm hopeful, man. But I tell you what, it's I still say, you know, it takes action.
Right.
You know, we can talk it, but it takes action. It
Right.
takes everybody's individual action to do better, and try to be better, and treat each other better. Because I tell you, we don't want war. I know nobody wants war, man. You think you want it. It's all these play soldiers who saying they want war. I guarantee you ain't gonna find a real soldier who says he wants war, unless they're crazy.
Right here, we're near the Mississippi River. Mahalia Jackson was baptized in the Mississippi River
yeah.
uptown in the Black Pearl. The river's always been an inspiration. Wade in the water. You know, it's a giver of life. It's also a taker of life and floods and that sort of thing. But there is a song that begins with a couple of words about the river and baptism.
Yes, and I got to tell you, this one of New Orleans' great drummers, June Gardner, was with this artist, Sam Cooke, when he recorded all this stuff. That's another contribution from New Orleans, right?
More connections of
Yeah.
family,
All
friends,
that, yeah.
music people.
June Gardner, great drummer. I was born by the river in a little town, yeah. Just like that river, I've been rolling ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know that a change gon' come. Yes, it will. Well, I go to the movies and I go downtown. People always telling me, John, don't you hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know that a change won't come. Yes, it will. Well, it's too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there for far beyond the sky. It's been a long, oh yes, a long time coming, but I know that a change gon' come. Yes, it will. Then I go to my brother. I say, brother, hey brother, would you help me please? Don't you know that my brother, he ends up knocking me right back on my knees. There've been times when I've thought, you see, I thought I might not last very long, but now I know that I'm able to carry on. It's been a long, yes, a long time coming, but I know that a change gon' come. Whoa, whoa, yes it will.
John Boutte, thanks so much for singing about hope here on
Yes,
American
thank you,
Roots.
Nick.
You got us down here by the river. Before we go, I want to thank the band Oscar Rosignoli over there on the piano. Amazing playing. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Nobu Ozaki on bass. Beautiful, fabulous sound. And over here, close to me, the man with red hair. The only man with red hair in the studio and looking good and sounding great. Caleb Tokarska. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Just amazing set we've had here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Nick, for the opportunity, and thank your listeners for tuning in also, man. And the Park Service and everybody who made this possible. You guys, too.
Let's hear from the Park Service one more time. If you're ready, Ranger.
Here come the rain.
Yeah. The Ranger. The Rangers of the nation.
of the
The whole wild creation,
Oh,
khaki and
wild
brown.
creation, and it won't bow
Won't
down.
bow down.
On a
A little
dirty
bit of green.
Louisiana rain.
The Park Service song.
Oh, I love that. Oh, thank you so much, Nick Spitzer and American Roots. Thank you, John Boutte and your band. Thank you all for tuning in. The National Park Service, the New Orleans Jazz National Historical Park is so grateful and honored to be able to support live music, the ongoing tradition of jazz in New Orleans. And keep an eye out on our website, which is nps.gov/jazz, and we'll post all of our upcoming events. And thank you all so much. Have a great evening.
So, John Boutte and band, what you got to send us home with?
We're going to send you with a song that I used to hear Mr. James Carroll Booker play also.
Great pianist.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he used to play this in church, I found out. And it goes like this. The world we know was built on skills, but that alone it don't count. Without the sweat and toils of yours and mine, it would not be worth a dime. We gotta live and give, share and care, and always put love up in the air. And when your neighbor's down, you gotta pick him up, 'cause nobody can live in despair. Everybody, let's sing, sing, sing. Everybody, let's sing. And we're gonna let freedom ring. Join hands and do your thing. Make a better world to live in. High society has no priority. We're all a part of the whole. Whenever people shout, you got to hear them out. 'Cause everybody got a good soul. Hey, we ought to come on together, hand in hand, really try to work things out. Now, wouldn't it be a pleasant sight to see the